Welcome back to Oh My Pod. I'm Justin J. Moore.
And I'm Celine.
And today we are going to be talking about how your podcast can help you create a ton of content for social media and for your website, everything that you could possibly want.
Exactly. Repurposing.
Repurposing your content, yeah. Let's get right into it. So when you are creating your podcast, you're obviously thinking about the podcast itself and the audio format that's going to be going on to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. But a piece of it that we think is that we advocate for at Podigy, that we think is just as important as the audio side, and that is going to be the content that you can actually create from each podcast episode. This is something that we're seeing everywhere. We're seeing these little clips, like reels and TikToks of people's faces with captions, subtitles and stuff, of the hot moments of the podcast, so the hot topics. And these are performing incredibly well. And one of the best things about it is that you get to actually just repurpose that content from the episode that you've recorded. You know, if you record a single episode, a podcast episode, let's say you record an interview with somebody within your industry, and you record an hour-long episode, let's say. From that hour-long episode, how many clips do you think you can take from that'll be valuable little nuggets of information? Like depending on the conversation, it could be on the low end 10, but on the high end, I mean, why couldn't you clip 30 times from one episode? Like, you know, every minute there's probably going to be something worthy of clipping, whether even if it's just like a little 10-second snippet or something.
Yep.
So one single episode, in theory, could create you an entire month of content. But obviously, like, you don't want to just have 30 pieces of content of the exact same guest on your social media. So that's why we advocate for, you know, recording 4 episodes a month and then creating 20 to 30 clips from those 4 episodes. That way you have a variety of content.
Generally
so what do you
speaking,
think about that?
I would say that we've seen, and the newest statistics have confirmed this, that releasing once a week or even twice a week recently does the best. So you're already going to have 4 episodes in a month if you have a consistent podcast. And with those...
A weekly podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And then with those 4 episodes, you can make all your social media content pretty much.
Yeah, so like we said, clips, but also a lot of industries have other types of posts that they want to make. Like there's different carousel posts you can make with information that answers questions. You can take quotes and you can make quotes into posts for your social media. Literally the sky, like I used to think that, you know, you can get a few pieces of content from a podcast, like when I first started this business. But I realize now that the sky is the limit. Like if you have a massive guest on your show, like why not create 20 clips from that?
Yeah, exactly.
Post a few of them on Instagram, post some other ones on TikTok, send them in an email list, put them on your website, like just load up, you know?
And depending on what you use as marketing, like as social media or whatever, you can really make a blog post, you can make a LinkedIn article, you can make a send it out to your email list as a newsletter. Like there are just like countless possibilities, just like you said. And that is it's just amazing because like it doesn't take a lot of time to record this one episode, and the video component is literally like 0 more time that you need to spend on it.
0 more time and 0 more money.
Exactly, but you get so much more. It's just, why doesn't everybody do it? Like seriously.
Well, I think that for the majority of shows, it's recording video is kind of a no-brainer.
I agree, but like, why doesn't, like, I just think podcasting is just amazing. Why doesn't everybody have a podcast?
I see what you're saying.
You know?
We might be a little bit biased, but no, you know what? Honestly, we're not, because we're doing it ourselves right now.
Yeah,
so we must believe in it. This takes time.
That's like so funny because if you look at the clips on our Instagram,
they're exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. They're exactly what we're talking about. And you can also tell that we like record multiple episodes in like one go. You can see that we're like wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
And
it's the same background,
that's
everything.
just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's just so time saving, and we can get, you know, authentic, amazing content in just that, like in just this one sitting. And it's just
once a month, we sit down, we record 4 episodes. It takes us like an hour and a half, and we have an entire month of awesome content, like bomb content, not just like check out our new service, like,
yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, or like, look at this win that we just got. Like, it's like, here's what we're talking about. Here's what we're thinking. This is who we are.
Yeah.
We're doing it, right? Like, we don't, and let's shift over to the actual like logistics of how this works to actually get this content made.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing it. Like, we don't go after this episode. Celine and I don't go and start editing and clipping things up and making all the subtitles.
Gosh, no.
We outsource everything
Yes.
to our business.
Correct.
So when we are working with our clients, we're offering our clients something that we are paying for ourselves. Yeah. We're doing the same thing as them.
We are our
and
own client.
Our podcast within our business, our podcast is just listed like for our employees and everything. Our podcast is just listed among the other podcasts that we're working on.
Just like a client.
It's no different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like a client. Everything is the same. So how do we actually do this? Well, there's literally no reason to do this yourself, first of all.
No.
If your time is worth, well, first of all, you should have, I think it's a good idea to have an idea of what your hourly rate is worth as a human, like as a person with your expertise, your skills. What's your time worth? Because every time that you are spending time on something, if you're not equaling that amount, then you're losing money, even though you're saving money in your mind.
Yes.
So let's say your time is at $50 an hour. I think that's pretty reasonable for a lot of people. Some people it's way more. Some people maybe it's a bit less. But at $50 an hour, you are losing money by editing your own clips and everything like that. Like, doing this 30 clips for your podcast, that's going to take you hours. That'll probably take you, I would say, at least 5 hours to edit all the clips and subtitle it all. If you outsource it to Fiverr, to Upwork, to whatever these different websites that you can get work done are, or maybe you know an editor yourself or something. If you outsource this, like maybe you pay them $25 an hour. So now you're saving 50% on every hour that you're spending.
Yeah.
So sometimes spending money is saving money. That is absolutely true. Like, you're going to get bogged down with stuff like this. There's no way you're going to be able to keep up with the requirements for running a podcast that's creating this much content. So if we're talking about, let's just talk about the why. Like, why would you want to create this type of content from your podcast? We talked about like that it saves time. We talked about that it's recycling, repurposing, but the main reason is like, this is good content. Mm-hmm. It's authentic.
Yes.
It's candid. It's real. Like, it's happening in the moment. Your audience gets to actually see your face and hear your voice. And for some industries, that is everything. Like, if you're a coach or an educator, or you're trying to sell a program or something that's based on your expertise, then you need to build trust before you even are able to sell anything. And building trust is not an easy thing to do with traditional ads. But with a podcast, it's so much easier to do because they're just hearing you. They're hearing you and they're seeing you rambling on, sometimes fumbling around like an idiot. And people love that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're here to do with podcasts. We're here to actually show who we are.
Yeah. And I mean, we've done all of this too. Like, we've had the, like, you know, the aesthetically pleasing, just like color coordinated posts with like, that looked very like corporate and
stock
and just a bit, you know, just a bit not really real. It's like, it was not engaging to people because it was like not personal. Nobody had an idea what is even going on here. Like, it's just not doing well. And then you get like 3 likes from your mom and from, I don't even know, from some aunt. And that's it.
Literally from my mom.
Yeah,
like,
literally from your mom.
Not even a joke.
And now, like, it just like, this content does so incredibly well. It's insane. It's just insane.
It does so well, but it's also just like nice to look at our Instagram and be proud of what you see. Yeah. Like, hey, there's me talking about something, I look excited, I sound excited, something I'm passionate about. Like, this is the best. This is like the best side of me. And here it is, like everywhere, all over my Instagram, all over my social media. Like, what better way to grow your personal brand?
No, there's no better way.
There is no better way to grow your personal brand.
You. I feel like people will trust you exactly like this. They don't trust you if you post some random quote that you changed on Canva to your business colors. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah, and it just doesn't feel right. If you've ever done that before, if you've ever been the business that's making content that way, you just know in your heart that it's just not. It's not really it. There's something missing, right? It doesn't feel like the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I will say what this is totally what we believe. So take this with a grain of salt. I will say what we think the old way of content creation was, and then Celine, you can tell us what the new way would be.
Okay.
So the old way, and I'm not saying that any of this is wrong or bad, but this is just our opinion. So the old way was blogging, social media agencies, running your accounts for you, stock content, stock pictures, faceless companies, and posts that are focused on converting people in some way or another. So sales-focused posts.
Yes, correct. And the new way that we advocate for is definitely podcasting. It is to interview the best guests that you can get, like experts. People want to listen to, and that then creates engaging and personal content for all your social media. It builds your personal brand, and you can just repurpose that content in so many ways. And in our opinion, that's just the way to go, and that's the way that we are going as well. Like, we are doing exactly this, and it is working just way better. And if you've ever outsourced all of your social media, then you know that you really can't outsource it all, because it's like you don't engage at all, and it's just zero engaging, even like your posts, because it's not you mostly. So that just doesn't work.
There is a little caveat with that, which is if you do run a business, where you have the luxury of having like someone on your team or within your company running your socials for you, and them putting their faces out there, sure. But what you're saying is 100% true for like small, like sole proprietorship businesses. You cannot, like, somebody has to put their face on the social media. Somebody's got to put themselves out there.
Yes, right? And you have to engage on your social media in some way. And that can be in different ways. You can reply to comments, you can like other people's stuff back and all that stuff, but you can also just put yourself out there. That is a form of engagement, instead of posting a picture that is not even like we did, like a picture of a microphone. No, putting us out there on the podcast, speaking, that in itself is a form of engagement with your audience. With your audience. So like that is just, it's just so important.
But also, like, the other piece of it is, it's like when you work with a company like Podigy that produces all the content for you, it's probably one of the only ways that you can outsource content without it seeming like it's outsourced,
without losing all the authenticity, right?
Yeah, I was just on an interview. I got interviewed on one of our clients' podcasts, actually, and I said to him, it's like the way to automate your social media content while keeping some of the soul in it.
Exactly.
And he really liked that. You know what I mean? Because he runs a company that literally is focused on running Facebook ads for realtors. Mm-hmm. So he knows a lot about marketing, and I think that really hit home, because like this is the way to create content automatically, authentically, that still has some soul in it, right?
Yes, exactly.
The content that we used to produce for Podigy, that used to be posted on Podigy, there's no soul in it. Like there was nothing, right? Like nobody's gonna get to know us at all. So then at that point, like, what's the point of posting the content? You know? Mm-hmm. So I think that's sort of it on that front. The next episode, we're going to talk about some new statistics that have come out for 2023 in the podcasting world. So might not be interesting to some people, might be super interesting to other people, depending on what kind of person you are. But that's going to be the next episode, and that'll come out next week. Make
sure to check out our new website, podigypodcast.com. It's really great, and it's new.
Yeah.
And you can actually just put in your email address in there, and you can get a free PDF, a launch guide for a podcast from there.
Yeah, so you can launch your podcast, 9 steps to launch your podcast. We think that's valuable. And you can also, it's also in the show notes. You can find the link there. And if you have any things that you want to say to us, or any questions or any comments, just send us an email, which is also in the show notes. So thank you for listening. Also, we didn't even mention, but this was the first episode that we've gone virtual, because the first 4 we did in person, but now Celine is in the next room.
Exactly.
And
we're so virtual, but still in the same apartment, but
yeah. We should talk about, honestly, that like how easy something like recording a virtual interview is.
I was thinking about that the whole entire time. Yeah, we should definitely talk about that. Yeah. We should maybe.
This is just so much easier, like, than setting up a camera, and there's a billion reasons why. But we'll do that in the future. Anyways, next week, let's talk stats, podcast stats. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you